Stephanie Rubles, welcome to my channel. I made a t-shirt and it doesn't fit. Let's fix it. Okay, so I got the green tea pattern from Green Style Creations. If you go to their Instagram page, or if you're a member of their Facebook group, then you will be able to get this pattern for free, which is always a bonus. But if you are plus size or more than a B cup, stick around because the pattern's not gonna fit you. All right, so when I did my measurements, and you know what's interesting? So they alphabetized their size, which is kind of nice to not have a pattern that like helps you get hung up on your numbers, you know? So I was, according to my measurements, I was a size J. And so that's the shirt that I made. So I'm gonna try that on for you right now, and we're gonna take a look at what went wrong. Okay, so here we go. This is the one I made. I took my measurements. I cut out the pattern based on the one that it said I'm supposed to have. And it said, if you want a snugger t-shirt, size it down. And if you want a baggier t-shirt, size it up. I feel like I got the baggy t-shirt without sizing it up. But also there's like these lines here, like this extra muchness here. That's not cool. My shoulder seams are not on my shoulders, and the neckline's a bit gapey. But if I move my shoulder, hang on, I need a mirror. When I move my shoulder seams properly up onto my shoulders, these like side thingies go way down. But then it's like my neckline is up too high, and that makes it more gapey here, and it puts like a ton of extra into the back as well. And you can see, so like my side seam is on my side, but look at all this extra fabric I have in the back. So it doesn't fit. Now how do we fix it? So what I did was I actually took, do I have a measuring tape here? So I took my high bust measurement, which is this one here. So it's down to my bra line in the back. Okay, so mine's 44 inches. I divided that by 4, which leaves me with 11 inches. And I actually measured my pattern where my high bust is. All right, so we're gonna do the math a long way around for a second. Okay, so my high bust was 44 inches. Now I'm gonna divide that by 2 because there's a front and a back, right? But then our pattern is actually only a half pattern, so because of that, we need to divide it by 2 again, which gives me 11. Okay, so I'm gonna take that 11 inches that I now have, and I'm going to actually measure my pattern, and I'm gonna see what size 11 inches comes up to. And so following that measurement is actually going to put me at an H, which is 2 sizes smaller than the one that I sewed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to retrace my pattern at that smaller size, and I'm going to do a full bust adjustment because all these patterns are made with B cups. Okay, so my camera crapped out on me and I have no idea where my footage went of me actually drawing these lines, so let's just kind of step through them. All right, so this dot right here is the apex, which is basically where my nipple lives. I just held the pattern up to my front and marked where my nipple was, and it's really not any more scientific than that. Line A runs from the apex all the way down to the bottom of the shirt, and it runs parallel with the fold cut edge of your pattern, or the center front. Line B runs out from your apex, and it runs perpendicular to line A out to the side of the shirt. And line C runs from your apex again out to the front of your arm side. Now I'm gonna mark out what my seam allowance is on the arm side, which I'm absolutely not holding my ruler. I should have had my ruler perpendicular to the arm. I don't know what I was thinking there, but I need to mark my seam allowance so that I know where to cut to. So I'm gonna cut all the way up across the apex and up to the line C, and I'm gonna cut in line B towards my apex. All right, so here I'm cutting the line A and C, and you can see that I'm slowing down. I'm just gonna cut to just before that marking of where my seam allowance is. I don't wanna cut through that because that seam allowance marking is gonna be my pivot. And then I'm gonna cut from the other side almost up to the seam allowance. I don't wanna cut all the way through. I need everything to still be attached. All right, then I'm gonna cut from the outside of the garment towards the apex, and same thing, I wanna leave a pivot there. So I'm gonna cut that in until I just about hit the apex. There we go. Now I have a movable pattern and I can adjust accordingly. Now I need to know how much I need to increase. Okay, so let's take a look at my size chart here. You can see where I've marked out on the day that I measured everything, I was gonna be a size J. Then we did our adjusted measurements and I came out with a size H. All right, the bust measurement for this is 42 to 43 inches, and my full bust measurement is 48 inches. So that's gonna tell me what the increase was. So this is how I'm gonna figure out what the amount is that I have to spread my pattern. I'm gonna take the 43 that is already available in bust size in the pattern, and I'm gonna subtract that from my full bust measurement of 48. That leaves me with 5. And you know what? If this was gonna be a shirt that I was gonna put a dart in that was made out of a woven fabric, I would keep it at 5. But it's not. It's a stretch shirt, which requires negative ease. So I'm gonna cut that 5 in half because that's what works for me. If you had a much bigger number, you might wanna, take 2/3 of that number, but that's gonna leave me with 2.5 inches. And because I'm dividing that between 2 pattern halves, I'm gonna divide that in half again, which leaves me with 1.25 or 1.25 inches. So I need to split my pattern by 1.25 inches. So I'm just gonna slide a piece of paper underneath my pattern where I have already split my pattern, and I'm gonna tape that down. And then I'm gonna measure out the distance that I need of 1.25 inches, and I will retape my pattern back together. And I also have to remember to fill in at the bottom. So because we put that split in the side of the pattern is now longer than the center, and it can make sense to think that you have to now trim the part that's longer than it should be, but that's not what we're gonna do. We actually want to bring the middle down to meet that because it's gonna take more fabric to fall over our bust so that our shirt then is level all the way around. It doesn't hike up in the front. Okay, so we have created a dart here, but don't worry about it. We're gonna ease that in, and you're not gonna have to do a dart, you're not gonna have to do any basting stitches. It's gonna be easy peasy. So what I want to do, and I actually should have done this before I slashed my pattern, is I need to measure 5 inches down the original pattern. So I'm just gonna take measurements and I'm gonna make the measurement on either side of the slash add up to 5 inches. And that's gonna give me my easing space. So I'm also gonna mark 5 inches on the back pattern piece as well. So when I pin my pattern pieces together, I'm gonna match my notches, match my bottom hem, and then I'll match under the arm, and I will just pull that 5 inches so that my back piece stretches to match my front piece. Because any extra fabric I have in there, I want it in the bust, right? It's not gonna do me any good lower down. So I wanna make sure I'm easing all that extra fabric into the bust area. You're not gonna see this at all. There's not gonna be any puckering or gathering when you're wearing the shirt, but you will have sort of like that little extra room for your bust in the bust area, which is where you want it. So at this point now, you're just gonna carry on and you're going to finish constructing your shirt as per the instructions that came with your t-shirt pattern. All of the adjustments are made with the exception of easing in that 5 inches under the arm. Everything else in your t-shirt pattern and the instructions that came with it should be followed as wrote. Here is the new size. Now, unfortunately, because it's black, it's probably not. You can't see if those lines are there. They're not. Like, it just fits me so much better. I'm showing it to you now with no neckband because I haven't put a neckband on the white one, and I wanted to show it sort of equally. My shoulder seams are at my shoulders. I don't have like a ton of extra fabric in the back. So yeah, there you have it. If you are more than a B cup, then this is the way to go. Size down the t-shirt and do a full bust adjustment. I'm gonna go and put the band on the collar now, and then I'll show you the finished product. I'm not gonna deal with my white t-shirt today, but I'm pretty sure that because I sized that down, I might be able to just like recut that fabric and make a t-shirt out of that, which I'm super pumped about. All right, so there you have it. I have my neckband on and my t-shirt is all finished and I'm loving it. Now that I have a t-shirt pattern that I know fits me really, really well, and actually like seeing this, the neckband I could probably use a bit of a shorter piece when I'm using it with this much stretch, so I will make a note of that. But now that I know that I have a pattern that works for me really well, I can start hacking it and I can start giving myself more options that I can use the exact same pattern for. And to me, that is one of the best things about sewing, is once you get something that fits you really well, then figuring out how to alter it into different things. So over the next month, we're going to be going over quite a few different t-shirt hacks, so that even when you want to bulk make something that is a wardrobe staple and you just want that comfy thing and you need a few of them, you can add one little different element to each one just to make it so it's not the same shirt every time. So that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe below and leave a comment, say hi. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time.